Hi, welcome to another week of our wonderful online class, Conditioning for BrAMS. So this is a class in conjunction with myself and the people down at the BrAMS unit at Southmead Hospital. So if you've been referred, so if you're here, you've probably been referred by one of the people down there, one of the neurologists or physios, nurses, those kinds of things, Liv, Sophie and all those kinds of things, as a class to run. If you're a regular, brilliant, pull up your pew and all those kinds of things. Let's get on with it. If you're new, welcome. This is my name is Rich. Nice to meet you all. So what we've got today is a mostly chair-based workout for you and circuit-based. Today we've got 7 different movements that we're going to do in and around the chair. And the key that we're trying to do on these kind of classes is to help improve confidence, improve range of motion, comfort, all those kinds of things with various different parts of mobility. Okay, each exercise is going to have various different levels attached to them. So all we ask of you today is to find what's challenging for you today. So if you're a regular, don't worry what you've done in recent weeks or anything like that. And it's just about what is challenging today and what you are able to do today. Okay, and if you feel any discomfort, when we talk about discomfort, there are 2 types of discomfort. Okay, muscularly, and so you know, in the thighs, the quads, those kinds of things, maybe in the arms, the shoulders, or some of the movements that we're going to do today. Mild discomfort there is fine. Okay, and that just means the muscles are being used, they're getting a little bit fatigued, and those kinds of things. If we find any discomfort in the joints, so in knees, elbows, wrists, those kinds of things, or any sharp pains anywhere, kind of on-off pains, those are the kind of things that we don't want to feel. So if you do feel any of those kind of situations, pull back on what you're doing from there, okay? Don't push yourself further than you feel necessary today. This is based on perfect reps, not as many reps as you can do, okay? So if you get through, let's say, 4 reps in the whole 45 seconds that we'll be working, that's great. If we get through more than that or less than that, great. It's just doing what you can today. If you do feel like the class affects you in any particular way, then by all means do refer directly back to the neurologist, the nurse, physio, whoever you're dealing with down at BrAMS to discuss that further. Good. Things you're going to need today, apart from a can-do attitude, a chair. My recommendation is to have a chair with arms in it. Some of the movements we can use the arms for support and for extra use in and out of them. I'm using just a bog standard garden chair from my garden, which I plucked up and brought into the house, just because it's the only chairs that I've got with arms in. I'd also recommend a drink, okay, nice little bit of cold fluid, something to help regulate the temperature inside, and especially if you set up shop to do your work today in a room where you've been drying your clothes and it's boiling hot like I have, you're going to want to help regulate that in an internal temperature. We have in previous weeks used balls or boxes or pillows and those kinds of things. We're not going to strictly use any of them today, but if you remember the things that we use them for when we're talking about controlling our knees and those kinds of things, if you want something along those lines, by all means make sure you've got hold of that to use today as well. It is an online class done via Facebook, so there is an option for you to kind of talk with each other and send messages to directly me. My computer is based right over there. Okay, so I don't have any kind of visualization of what's being said in the chat unless I do this. So I will kind of check over from time to time to see if anybody's asking any questions or if there's something, a problem with the stream or anything like that. I will check to make sure that everything's working okay. And there is about a 10-second delay between what I'm doing and what happens to yourselves. So just be aware of that if you drop a message in there or anything along those lines. There may be a slight delay between it getting to me and me picking it up by looking at the side again. Excellent. I think that's about it. So if you've got some music, some tunes, something like that you want to put on in your background, create your own kind of atmosphere, by all means go ahead and do so. Otherwise, let's get after it, shall we? So we're just going to start in the chair, nice and easy. And we're just going to go through one side of our body for the warm-up, starting right at the bottom with our ankle joints, okay? Get a bit of mobility going and all those kinds of things. So we just want a nice big circle in the ankle, all right? Two ways we can do this, either drawing a circle with the toe, so lifting your foot off the floor and a nice big circle with the toe. Or if it's difficult to keep the foot off the floor, keep just your toe on the floor and draw a circle with the heel. Okay, one or two motions, same kind of idea though. We're getting a nice round circular motion as much as we can in that ankle joint. Let's go the opposite way as well. One of the key things that I'll talk about a lot today is posture, what's going on with our upper body. One of the things we want to do is make sure that we've got good posture as well. So let's not try to lean over or slump or anything like that. Almost think like you're in assembly, like you're in, year 3 or something like that. So you're sitting up straight like kind of thing. Good posture, shoulders back and down as we're moving today. Let's bring our circles to the knee next. So just as big a circle as you can draw with that knee. Maybe the foot staying on the floor as the knee is doing a circle. Maybe you can get that leg up off the floor. And remember, it's just the biggest range of motion that you've got today through that circle. Let's take the circle the opposite way as well. Remember, lead with that knee. See how big a circle that you can draw with that knee. How much you can draw with that today. Good. Moving on up to the upper body next. To start with the wrist, same thing. We're going one way. Maybe you're waving like the regal queen. Hello, hello, hello. Nice and controlled. Let's go the opposite way as well. Nice big circles there. Nice and slow and controlled. And then we're going to draw circles with our shoulders next. So just the one shoulder. Take the biggest circle that you can get with it today. The other shoulder, this is where you've really got to try and not let that other shoulder jump up or anything like that. Let's take it the opposite way as well. Nice big circles. Let's go on down to the opposite leg then and do all the same things with that leg as well. So we'll start with the foot, the ankle area. So you're doing, remember, toe circles. Or your toe is on the floor and you're doing heel circles. Either way, nice big looping motions round that joint for that. Oh. And then we'll go the opposite way as well. Good stuff. Okay, so we did the ankles. Next to the knee. So then concentrate on the knee. Concentrate on that big circle. If you can get it off that floor just a little bit, great. If you can get it a lot off the floor, even better. But we're just drawing a nice big circle with the knee. And we take ourselves the opposite way as well. And if you are taking it off the floor, don't let the leg just flop to the floor, okay? See if you can control it down towards the floor as well. And then we take our attention to the upper body, onto that wrist to start with, one way. Regal queen wave on the other side of the street now. Just take that wave the opposite way around as well, the opposite circle. A little bit of action coming in off the shoulders then round one way. Looping it, that shoulder comes forward, it drives back, it's going up, it's going down through a nice big circle. Try and control that other shoulder. One at a time, remember. And let's take it out the other way as well. Lovely stuff. Okay. We can do some twisting next. So we're sat on the edge of the seat, feet flat on the floor, feet under your knees, elbows up, palms up, and we're just twisting side to side. All the way to the left, all the way to the right. So you're being led, okay, by your elbows here. You're not stretching that head round. We're not going as far as the shoulders or anything like that, but it's the elbows leading the way. So when that elbow can't get around anymore, all the way back round. And we're not jerking into the ends of the range of the motion or anything like that. It's just slowly walking into it and moving out of it as well. Okay, we're going to take our feet just slightly wider apart than they were before, so they're just outside hip level next. And all I want you to do is take one hand, it's going to go up to the sky, and then it's going to go as far down to the opposite ankle as possible, and then we switch. High, down to the ankle. Palm high, down to the ankle. Maybe you get as far as the floor, but you're really just folding it down as far as you can go towards that floor. Up and down. Up and down. And once again, just like the last motion I mentioned, none of this is jerky motions, okay? You really are just working to the end of your range of motion. So if you get to about a third of the way down and you come into something, that's it. Don't force it. Don't push through it. It's just a little control movement into the furthest you can get today. All right. We're going both hands up now, both hands down. Both hands high and down. You can really think about driving your shoulders back into your back pockets, okay? So if you put your hands, both your hands behind your back, all right, and then you push your elbows back, one of the things you'll notice that happens if I turn around to my side is how my posture sets itself. Now that's the kind of feeling that we want when we're doing a lot of the movements we're doing today, especially when I talk about kind of good posture. It's we take ourselves from our bog standard seated position, and if you just straighten up, shoulders back and down, that's our good posture that we're looking for today. Okay, so on this one right now, when we're coming down to the floor, we're coming back up to that good posture position, down to the floor, back on up. And let's make sure we're getting those hands overhead. I almost forgot about those hands over the head. Up, back down, and up. Let's take a couple more of those, because we're looking to reset that posture every single time, remember. We'll do one more. Lovely. All right, let me pop myself back round then. Okay, next thing we're going to look to do is with our legs, okay? And we're looking to take our feet from our bog standard seated position, so feet under knees, and we're just going to move them to the biggest range of motion and then back out. So we're either shuffling our feet out and back in. Maybe we take little steps to the biggest range of motion that we can open with. We're working towards steps. We're working towards full foot off the floor, okay? So remember, we've got slides out, okay? And we're just doing it over and over again. So keep that movement going however you're doing it, whether it is one big step and one big step back. Remember, keying posture, whether it's little steps out and little steps back, or we're even just sliding the feet out and back. So for the next couple of exercises, that's what I want you to do. Keep doing that, okay? Don't let that stop, as we're going to add in some other body work. So we're really going to confuse the brain and multitask, okay? So guys, we're going to have a problem with this because multitasking is not one of our strong points. Okay, hands out to the side. We're going to bring our right hand facing forward. Remember, those legs are still moving. We're going to bring our left hand forward as well. And our right hand is going to go high. And our left hand is going to go out to the left. Both of our hands are going to go low. Both of our hands are going onto our knees. Lovely. Okay, same thing. Legs are still moving in that motion, open and close. Okay? Hands out to the side. What I want you to do now, on top of that, is to wriggle those fingers. Okay, so now we're going to do 2 movements at the same time as we try and do that third one. So we're concentrating on those legs moving. We're not concentrating on the legs or the fingers because that's in our subconscious to carry on doing them. And now we concentrate on the right hand going high. On the left hand going to the right. Remember, those fingers are still moving, those feet are still moving. We're going to take both hands to the right, both hands high, both hands to the knees, tickle the knees, both hands to your shoulders. Lovely stuff. Okay, good stuff. All warmed up, ready to go. So we have 7 movements today, remember. Any point and you need to stop, don't do the movements anymore, grab the rest, grab a drink, anything along those lines that you need to do, that's fine. Okay? Each movement will have multiple different levels. We're going to do the movement for 45 seconds, followed by 75 seconds rest. Okay? During the 75 seconds, I'll introduce the next movement in our little mini circuit today. Okay, so the first one is our sit to stand. We always start with this one, mostly because it's one of those movements that is is used so much in everyday life. So we need to get confident with it. We need to get strong through the movement. We need the code in the mind to be able to do it. So multiple different ways that we can do this, depending on whether you've got arms or not arms, what your level of confidence is today. First and foremost, we've got just the bum raise. So we are sat in our seat, feet on the floor, and all we're going to do is raise the bum off. So we've got the hands on the arms, elbows drawn back, and we're pushing ourselves up to the bum, weights on the feet, and then we sit back down. Pushing ourselves onto the feet, legs bring us high, and we come back down. So we've just got the bum raise, okay? Lovely. If we're comfortable with the bum raise, let's take it to that next step, which is to bring ourselves up out of the seat, squeezing those glutes together before we bring ourselves back. Okay, I'll just take myself back a little bit so I don't cut myself off too much. So that's like standing up to the top, and then we bring ourselves all the way back down. If we're confident with that, maybe we even move towards using no hand support as we go through the motion. Load the feet, stand up, and then we come back down again. Okay, so remember, 45 seconds worth of work, then we've got 75 seconds of recovery / being introduced to the next movement. Okay, sit to stand, 3, 2, 1, off we go. There we go. So things to consider regardless of which movement you're doing. Okay, regardless of how high out of the seat you're coming, is that posture. Okay, remain with that good working posture throughout. Okay, so we've got the feet set, those elbows are drawn back, and whichever way you're using it, notice how my posture doesn't change. I've got a nice flat back as I load the feet from the chair. Okay, oops, I spilled the water, carry on. 10 seconds left. Even when I stand it up, that posture, I'm trying to remain, those shoulders back throughout the entire movement. Okay, there we go, good. So that's our first movement done. And that's going to be key through all of these different movements that we do today, is to really try and fight hard to keep that good posture through them. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to do basically paddling. We've got circles in the shoulders. Okay, so we're looking at kind of this paddle motion. All right, like you're paddling a kayak down the river, something along those lines. Okay, now how we're going to simulate that to start with is, first and foremost, good posture in the seat. Great. We can pop our hands on our shoulders and then just do our circles with our shoulders. Okay, nice circles backwards. If we're happy with that and confident, we can bring the hands into a little bit more. So we just got the elbows out, and we do the circles from there, okay? If we're confident with that, we'll bring the arms all the way out. Same thing with your circles, okay? So it's all about your confidence. How much you can control those arms depends on where you put your arms for your circles, okay? 45 seconds, off we go. So we may be doing it with just our hands on our shoulders, just big rotations backwards, one at a time, like we're paddling a boat. And that posture is staying set. You're almost squeezing those shoulder blades together. Maybe we're doing it with our hands just out. So there's much more of our elbows involved in leading the movement as we row backwards and backwards. And maybe our arms are all the way back, and it harkens you back to being a youth running around like an aeroplane. There we go, good stuff. So depending on how far away you get from the hands tucked in, the more stress it's going to put on the shoulder area, the more challenging it's going to be, especially to keep this posture in as well. Okay, we take ourselves back down to the feet now, and what we're looking to do is heel raises, okay? So if we're in the chair, what we're looking to do, we've got a side view here, which is probably going to be much better for you, is we keep the toes on the floor so we can see the heels are under my knees, and we're just going up, hold, back down, okay? The hold at the top is what I'm looking for more than anything else, and a slow release to the floor. So it's not up and then flop down, it's a push up, a deliberate hold at the top, deliberately slow down. So we're doing this from the chair. Alternatively, you can do this leaning over your chair from the back, okay? Or if you've got a work surface or something along those lines, a table, leaning over the table as well, okay? So we've got 45 seconds of a lift of the heels and a pause. Let's go. There it is, look, pause, slowly back down. When we talk about a lot of our movements, okay, I always like to instruct kind of thinking about rhythm. So 1, 2 seconds up, hold, 1, 2 seconds down. So it's controlled. So you have got this kind of idea of how fast it should be. And we are looking to return to the bottom of the motion just as fast as we came up to it. Okay? So regardless of whether you're doing it in the chair, hold, releasing it back down. If we're doing it off of a table or off the back of a chair, because we want to challenge ourselves a little bit more, 1, 2, up, hold, 1, 2, back down. There we go. Time done on the calf raise. Great stuff. Okay, so this one's going to be a bit of a dance, bit of a good one. We're basically doing punches or palm strikes or reaching for the lasers, however you want to see it. We've got 3 ranges of motion. We've got straight ahead, we've got up above, and we've got out to the side, okay? So the way we're going to do it is 1, 2, forward, 1, 2, high, 1, 2 to the side. So it's one arm at a time. We're trying to get as straight in line with our shoulder as possible. So like I say, punch, punch, or raise the lasers, or push, push to the side. But it's always one arm at a time. All very slow, all very controlled, all through that good upper body posture. So set that lower body, set those feet under the knees, really root the feet into the floor so it's supporting your entire structure, okay, as we move through the movements. Forward, forward, up, up, side, side. Okay, starting in 3, 2, 1, and away we go. Good, so it's push, push, high, high, side, side. And really feel those shoulder blades squeeze together as you bring your arm back to the start position. And remember, this is as many reps as you can do perfectly. Okay, we're not looking for quick ones, we're looking for good full extension. Okay, your full range of motion, whatever that is, that's what we're looking for. Straighten, back, straighten, back. And once again, if you've got that rhythm, that metronome in the mind, tick, 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 tick. There we go, time. All right, good. So, punch is done. Leg extension time. So, we're doing this one from the chair. Generally recommend sitting right back in the chair on this one. I'll show you this from the side view as well. So for this one, I'll recommend the majority of your thigh flat on the chair, just so your knees are isolated and not moving. Place your feet on the floor however you can. The longer your legs are going to be, the more difficult it will be to bring them underneath you here. For example, right now I've got a gap under my thighs, so now my thighs are flush with the chair. All I want you to do, good upper body posture, straighten the leg, okay? And then return it to the floor. Straighten the leg, return it to the floor. So depending on your range of motion, as you can see how horrendous mine is, I can't even straighten my leg. Okay, depends on how much you're going to get out of this. Okay, so there's our first thing, straighten the legs. If you find you can straighten your legs, okay, the next step after that is to raise the entire thing so the thigh comes out of the chair as well. Okay, that's the next level. Straight leg, thigh up, thigh down. Okay, let's go. 60 seconds are on the clock. So keep the posture. Each of these range of motions, if you find your posture is broken down, okay, so for example, if you straighten the leg and for you to get that straighter, you bend the top body, don't go any further. Each range of motion is only there as long as your posture stays set. So think about those shoulders in your back pocket. Hello to you, Milan. And Wamba Bradley. 3, 2, 1. Lovely stuff. Okay. Leg extensions done. Okay, so possibly one of my favorite exercises next, because of how it feels and what it does for both my core, for my hips, for my glutes, for a whole bunch of areas, is the floor touch. Okay, so what we're looking to do, we are looking to be at the edge of our seat, and we're basically trying to bring our hand as close to the floor as possible under our hips. Okay, so let's go from the side again just to show you what I mean here. Okay, so we can see that my hips are around where the chair leg is. So I'm bringing my body sideways like this to bring my arm down to the floor. Okay, so I'm trying to get to the outside of that leg because that's under my hips at the moment. Okay, so it's not kind of a forward, it's not kind of, you know, coming towards the toes or anything like that. It really is looking from the side, good posture. It's like we are that metronome, tick, and you're just going down as far as you possibly can go for 45 seconds. 1, off we go. So metronoming from side to side, good body posture through the biggest range of motion that you can get. And remember, we don't take any jerky motions, okay? So we don't get to a range of motion up and then flick it through, because we're just trying to get a little bit better every time. Both your butt cheeks, you're fighting to keep on the chair as well, okay? So if you find you get to about this point and then the butt cheek comes off so you can get to the floor, just go as far until that butt cheek pops up and then bring it on back. 5 seconds to go. Last 1, maybe 2, depending on your timings. There it is, lovely stuff. Okay, floor touch. Final one then is the twist. So we've just been touching the floor. Great. This time we're aiming for the back of the chair. Okay, so we're going to take our hand. Let's go from the side again, just so we can see the posture. So once again, posture is king here, all right, or queen. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking to break down into reach or anything like that. What you're doing is you're twisting round to the side and then pushing out. Okay, that posture is staying up. Both butt cheeks are on the floor, and then we return and we do the other side. Okay, all the way around to the side and then back. Okay, And it really is just that posture turn with that extra push at the end. Okay, the extra push is kind of the next level. So if we're not comfortable with that, if we can't hold ourselves around, just the twist and then bring ourselves back. Okay, off we go. There it is. So the twist is our first level. Okay, nice and slow and controlled. Remember, it's the shoulder leading the way on this one, whilst both the butt cheeks stay on the floor. Once we're happy with that, the extra twist comes with the push to the side. So you get to the end of your twist. As you're holding it, you push it on out. Boom. Boom. And if you want to add an extra layer to this motion as well, maybe you add in an extra punch whilst you're holding it at the end. So 1, 2, and then return. So we're just holding it at the end, just that little bit longer before returning. Time, good. All right, so that is our round done. Wonderful stuff. Okay, we're going to go round that one more time. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I find this hard one to do, but almost one. I assume, Amber, that that's the floor touch one. And if it is, which I would assume it is, then I'll let you know a few other minor details to kind of concentrate on for that one. But yes, there is a certain element, obviously, of balance being involved there when we're coming down to the floor. So much of our weight is like on this kind of the cusp of the chair, that if we are leaning a little bit too far forward or something along those lines, there is that kind of possibility. But we'll talk about that a little bit more in our kind of bar break leading up to that exercise. Okay, so we go back to the top again. We're in that sit to stand motion to start with, and remember, we've got loading the feet, bums coming off the chair. Let's look at this from the side. I might set up another camera from the side. That would be really technical, wouldn't it, if we had 2 cameras on the go? Look at posture, look at what's going on the front as well. So we've got posture set up onto the feet, pushing ourselves up, just the bums coming up and then back down. Okay, notice how I'm coming down just as slowly as I'm going up. Okay, we take it to that next level and we push up, and now we're squeezing the glutes through, and then we come back down. Nice controlled entry back into the chair. And if you're super challenging yourself today, maybe we go no-handed as we load the feet. We're pushing up through the feet, squeezing the glutes to get us up to the end of that range of motion, and then return to the floor as well. Okay, we are back to, I've knocked over the poor elephant, look at that. I bought him in boots about 25 years ago because he was on sale. Good stuff. So we're going back to the top, sit to stand, dealer's choice, 45 seconds, 75 seconds rest, 3, 2, 1, and off we go. There we go. So it's all about shifting our weight from the chair onto our feet. Okay, and a lot of coaches will tell you to load the heels, bring your weight to the back of the front foot. I'm much more of just get a good solid foundation on your feet. Spread the weight throughout your foot and pushing up through your entire foot. Okay, weight on the feet, got the center of balance, my mass is over my feet, push on up, squeeze those glutes at the top before re-entry. And remember, time it. If it's taken 3 seconds, 1, 2, 3, let's make it 3 seconds back down as well. 1, 2, 3. Time, good. There is just as much work going on the coming down than there is of the going up. The reason why you might find it more challenging on the way down is because what happens as the older we get, the longer we deal with life, all those kinds of things, the more we flop into chairs, we don't exercise those muscles on the return to the chair. How many people actually sit down properly, or they just throw themselves on the sofa, those kinds of things? Our entire life, we continue to have to push ourselves out of chairs, but more and more we throw ourselves and we drop into chairs. So those muscles involved in bringing ourselves down haven't had a lot of work through life. So we want to really control it lower ourselves down nicely. Okay, we've got the rowing situation going on. So remember, we've got either our hands on the shoulders, rowing back. We'll go forwards this time, shall we? We went backwards last time, or at least I did. So we've got one after the other rowing. If we're comfortable there, we bring the hands out as well, rowing away down the river, or if we've got our arms straight out from there. So remember, the further away the arms are, the more joints involved, and the more challenging it's going to be. Off we go. We got 45 seconds. And once again, this is nice and slow and controlled. Try and get the biggest range out of it that you possibly can. So big circles, however you're doing it, whoosh. Maybe you're thinking like a front crawl motion in the swimming pools. Swimming pools which are open again today, hurrah! Maybe it's just the arms, like a big aeroplane from there. We're almost through. 5 seconds to go, nice and controlled. There it is, good. All right, back down to those beautiful calves next. And remember, the important thing in order is the pause at the top, the releasing of the weight, and then the coming up is the third important thing, I guess, from there. Good posture set, up, hold, back down. Let's try and do this, shall we? Let's say the time it takes for you to bring your heels down is slower than the time it takes to bring it up. Okay, so let's say 1 second up, 1 second hold, 2 seconds down, shall we? Let's see if we can nail that timing. So that's what we're going to try and do. So let me bring it to the side. So 1, 1, 1, 2. 1, 1, 1, 2. That's what we're going to aim for. Whether you're doing it from the chair, whether you're doing it leaning over a surface like a table or your chair, or a work surface if you're doing it in the kitchen. And you may even be doing it up against the wall fully stood up. That will be the top end of this that we want to do. Either way, let's see if we can get a good rhythm going on. 3, 2, 1, let's go. So up, hold, 1, 2. Up, hold, 1, 2. So that's what we're trying to do. Nice and slow on the way down. Control it on the way down as much as we can. Because like I said in that little talk after the sit to stand, the return, generally anytime we go to a top of the range of motion that's using our legs, we're always using it to get up there, but we're not using the muscles that help bring us down. There's our time there. So let's see if we can bring those return journeys down to seats, all those kinds of things, nice and slow. Okay, rhythm as a dancer next. We've got our little dance going on. Let's add a little bit extra to this one, shall we? So let's make sure that we keep our feet flat under our knees, okay? So those of you that maybe got your cushion or your ball, maybe you're holding that between your legs today, something along those lines. We just want those knees parallel. So when we're doing all of the different movements, let's see if not only have we got that good upper body posture, but let's see if our legs are staying nice and controlled. Got to go out front first. If those legs are being nice and controlled as well. Okay, so remember we're going forward, forward, up, up, side, side. And I guarantee you can use this on any dance floor and everybody will look at you because you'll be the best dancer in there. That's not true at all. So if you've got, if you're ready, we're going in 3 seconds, okay? 3, 2, 1, and we're off. So it's forward. And once again, think about your rhythms. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And see if you can get it under control the whole way round. So maybe in 2 seconds. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I've just repeated the forward motion. Look at that. Engage brain, and it all falls apart. Out to the side and back. All controlled. Everything we do is a deliberate movement. We're trying our absolute best not to let gravity take over. We're trying to keep, you know, full tension in the muscles throughout there and back. Last couple now, that's 45, good. All right, leg extensions next. So remember, let's go to the side again. So we're trying to get our thighs nice and flat on the chair. We've got our good body posture, and wherever our legs lay, they lay, and it is the extension and back down. Okay, we're just lifting that leg up as high as we can. Let's add a pause this time. Okay, get to the end of your range of motion, pause, and then back down. And remember, if your top of your range of motion gives you this nice flat leg situation, the next step you're going to take on top of that is the thigh raises as well before it comes back down. Once again, you're holding it at your biggest range of motion and back down. Cool. My hamstrings do not like this at all. As you can see, look at that. That's not even a straight leg. Look, I should be up. Doesn't like it. So remember, take myself as an example. Not everybody's range of motion is the same. So it's about doing what you can do today, not what anybody else is doing. So regardless of whether you're the same as me, if your range of motion is less or if it's more, you push yourself to your range, your mild discomfort, nobody else's. Okay, so off we go. The little rant went a little bit long there, but it's okay. We're still going to go 45 seconds. You're still thinking about that control. 1, 2, paused. 1, 2, back. Okay, so it's all about bringing it to the end of that range of motion and then pausing, bringing it back. Okay, posture hasn't changed, posture is still set. Okay, we're going to go 10 more seconds and back, holding, and then slowly back. There we go, lovely. Okay, we're going to do the floor touch. So if you do find yourself precariously getting, you know, too much towards the floor, where your range of motion, where you're falling off the chair or nearly falling off the chair, and it's disconcerting, all those kinds of things, a couple of things that we can do. Okay, first and foremost, if we shift our weight back in the chair a little bit more, and we still try and do the same kind of motion from side to side, we'll have a firmer base. The further we get to the end of that seat, the more weight we're carrying on our own legs. Okay, so if we need a little bit more stability, bring yourself back in the seat a little bit more, so there's a bit more thigh in the seat rather than kind of sitting at the edge. The only thing that will mean there is you'll have to be a little bit more aware of where your floor touch is. Okay, you're trying to touch the floor roughly around where your hips are. Okay, so you can still do it depending on your chair. Down, boom, there it is. But it is still kind of like a pendulum. Okay, there's no forward motion or anything like that, or at least that's what we're trying to reduce. Okay, so we have 45 seconds and off we go. Nice pendulum motion. You want to add in a stretch over the top as well. That's an extra option. That's going to bring the work in a little bit more. That's going to bring your weight over it a little bit more. But remember, key is posture, obviously. Butt cheeks stay on the floor. If you feel your butt cheeks are coming off the floor when you're getting to the floor, off the chair when you're getting to the floor, don't bring this over as well. Only if you're managing to get to that floor situation, both butt cheeks are on the floor, then we bring this next part in. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and time. Good. Floor touch, twist. Okay, so the last one, our last movement of the day, last 45 seconds, is that side twist in motion. And remember, posture is king. Posture is always king. Shoulders are back and down. If you ever need to reset to feel how that is, remember, take the hands behind the back and then just push your elbows back. Okay? That's how we should feel. That's how we should set up. Think you're 7 years old, you've just been told off an assembly, you've been told to sit up straight. That's what we're looking for, okay? So it is, remember, 3 layers. We've got just butt cheeks are staying on the floor, posture set. Led with the shoulder, back to the middle. Opposite side. If we're comfortable there, we come to the end, we push, we come back. Same on the other side. If we're comfortable there, twist, push, push, and then back, okay? So we've got various different layers that we can pop in. Off we go, 45 seconds. And remember, none of this is jerky motions. So don't feel like you're gonna hold it to get all the punches in if you can't, okay? Just take it up, hold, and then bring it back. We're bringing those obliques into that full situation, squishing up, and back. I'm making far too many noises. You always know when you're getting old because every time you move, you make a noise. Last 10 seconds. End of that range of motion and then back. Last one possibly. We got 3, 2, 1. Nailed it. Okay. That's our 7 movements for today. We're just going to introduce a few stretches now towards the end. And one of the things that I always talk about with stretching is really, really good for you. It not only kind of it helps with comfort, helps with range of motion and all those kinds of things, but it's something that only is really applicable if you're doing lots of stretching, okay? The benefits of stretching are only really seen when you do a lot of it. So when I'm talking about a lot of it, I'm talking like daily, sometimes bi-daily. I try to stretch 2 to 3, 4 times a day for myself, especially during rehab situations that I'm going through at the moment, for example. So it's very important that if you're stretching, make it part of like a daily routine. It's one of the reasons why I always do my stretching in the chair in these classes and also my Friday classes and any other class that I do, because that I feel like we as people spend a lot of time sat down watching Netflix, you know, at the desk, all those kinds of things at work. So if we can learn to stretch in the chair, then we can do these stretching whilst we're doing other things, and it becomes less of a chore, less of an event, and much more something we can fit into watching Game of Thrones or whatever's on the TV, or etc, etc. So stretching rant over. So we're in the chair first and foremost, okay? And what I'd like you to do, we'll come to the side view for this one. We are going to feet under knees. You're just going to shift one leg as far forward as possible. Knees are parallel, knees are in front of your hips, okay? So all we're going to do is just forward fold down as far as you can go in that folding situation. So once again, just like with the floor touch, if this feels too precarious, just shuffle the bum back in the seat a little bit. Reset so your foot is under the knee, the other foot is forward, but it's flat on the floor. Okay, we want it flat on the floor. And what we're going to do now is, as you're down there, I just want you to raise your toe. Okay, just as high as you can bring it. We've just disengaged some muscles and engaged a different set of muscles in our leg, that's all. So if you're folded down and you can reach your foot, you can pull it up a little bit as well, maybe. Good. And then we're going to come all the way back up. We're going to keep that foot forward. Now what we're going to do with this other foot is slide that foot back. Once again, we're just sliding it back as far as we can, but this time keeping the foot flat. Okay, we've got both feet flat on the floor. We're just going to go back down again. So now our feet are as far apart as they can be, both flat on the floor, heels and toes on the floor. And then you're going to bring the toes on that front foot up again. Okay, all the way back up, and we're going to do exactly the same with the other leg now. So, starting straight underneath the knees, the front foot's going to go forward as far as you can go whilst maintaining a flat foot. And then we forward fold straight on over as far as we can go again. And remember, everybody's range of motion is different. Everybody's range of motion is dictated by what you do, how often you've done things, how tight your muscles are, how long your levers are, and those kinds of things. So sometimes your range of motion may be completely different, and you may feel certain stretches in different areas. Okay? Bring that toes up nice and high next on that front foot. So the only time that it's, I would say that your stretch is wrong, okay, is if you feel a stretch in a joint, okay? If you feel a stretch muscularly anywhere, great, okay? No problems with that for the most part. But if you start to feel stretches inside joints, we got a little bit of a situation there. Let's bring ourselves back on up. Foot flat on the floor. Once again, we're going to drive that other foot as far back as we can, keeping a flat foot, okay? And then we're going to bring ourselves into that forward fold once again. Okay, and all the way back up we go. Once again, careful as we do the next one. We're just going to take the feet as wide as we can. Face the feet with the knees, okay? So obviously the legs are going to open, and as they do, the knees are going to point in different areas. Make sure your toes are pointing the same way as your knees, okay? Knees are once again over the top of the ankles, and we're just going to bring ourselves down towards the floor, okay? Great one on the hip flexors, opening up those hips. And then back up we go. Okay. Legs together. What I want you to do is pop one knee over the other one. Okay. Then we're going to go the opposite way. So I've taken my right leg over my left knee, and I'm just going to pop my hand on the knee and just twist on round. Now you may push round on the knee. You might even drag your elbow onto the knee. Something along those lines. We're basically tying ourselves up in a nice little knot here as we go. So once again, depending on how your body is set up, there's a whole range of places you might feel this. I'd assume you're definitely feeling this in the core. You may feel this in the glute of the higher leg, the knee that's over the top. Depending on how scrunched up your toes are, what you're doing there, you might find it some stuff a little bit lower. Let's come back on over, cross the legs the opposite way. So now I'm taking my left leg over the top and I'm turning to my left. You may feel some kind of extra pressure in your back, those kinds of things. If it's using it in the back, it's probably because we're using our back to kind of pull ourselves around a little bit more. There may be a little stretch in our chest area. And we bring ourselves back. Take those hands behind the back. Now you might want to really sit in the back of your chair for this one, so you can really kind of got a bit of space behind you. Hands behind the back, holding each other, pushing away from your bum, really trying to explode the chest high through the ceiling. And although this is a stretch, it is an exaggerated stretch. It's an exaggerated posture position. So this is really forcing our shoulder blades down into those back pockets, and which is that kind of idea that I'm trying to install on you in regards to that posture. Okay, so if ever, like I say earlier, If you ever feel like you need to reset and feel what that posture feels like again for any of the movements, boom, arms behind the back, whoosh, big push, there's that posture, bring it back, upper body set. Okay, last couple before we disappear. You're going to take one hand up at shoulder level, bring it across. When you can't bring it across anymore, that's not any turning of the hips or anything like that. It is literally just the arm traveling in front, hug it on into the body. Shoulder, back, bit of arm, loads of different places you might feel this. Just take it nice and relaxed. Don't push it pull it too much, because we're not trying to do anything too manipulative in the joint area. And let's go ahead and do the same from the opposite side. So that arm's coming across the body, that shoulder level, hug it on in. Lovely stuff. Okay, thank you very much for your time today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, go ahead and leave a comment and let us know that you've been by today. Leave a like on the video. If there's anything that you think you would benefit from, anything you find challenging, anything you want more of a challenge with, let me know, whether it's with a message in the comments or a direct message, something along those lines. The better we can shape these classes for you, the better they're going to be for you. And the chances are, if you want a little bit of pushing somewhere or you'll find something difficult, other people are in the same boat as well and will find that beneficial as well. And the videos are, apart from this class right now, they're all up to date and on the YouTube account as well. I've posted that link before, so if you wanted to go back and visit any of the other classes, obviously you can do. The more you do movement, the better your body gets at them. The more consistently you do them, the better your body will be with them, okay? So, you know, if you can fit in a little bit of practice once, twice a week, you're going to be better at doing certain movements and certain body movements than if you did none. All those kinds of things. But just remember, you take it easy. You only do what you can feel like today. Maybe you even discuss it next time you're taking your meeting down at BrAMS. Well, how often can I do these things? How often will I? You know, all those kinds of things, okay? Because the more consistent you are with them, the more benefit you'll see out of them. So they are up on the YouTube account. So you can visit those. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. If you ever do any of the videos on YouTube, leave a comment. Let us know when you've done it. You know, all those kinds